everybody. My name is Jenny Leonhuvud, and I manage the exhibit and outreach spaces here at Mann. And on behalf of our director, Mary Oakes, who couldn't be here today, unfortunately, she's traveling, I wanted to welcome you all to Mann Library. As a university library, we seek to serve as a crossroads of knowledge and discovery on this campus. And right here in the Mann Gallery, we're particularly proud to be able to bring the insight and hard work of the CALS and CHE faculty and students and programs like the Tata-Cornell Institute. It's been a pleasure working with Jessica Ames and TCI to put together this exhibit. It's full of beautiful imagery and really wonderful and impactful, fascinating research. So I hope that you'll all enjoy having a look around and enjoying the party. And with that, I'd like to introduce Jessica Ames.
First and foremost, I want to thank you all for coming. We really appreciate you being here to celebrate with us for our 5th anniversary. This is a big occasion, and we're very thankful for all of the people across campus who are supportive of our work and interested in learning more about what we do. So thank you again for coming to our exhibit today. I wanted to give you a little background about the reason for the exhibit and some of the motivations and thoughts that we had going into creating it. Just briefly, we were trying to think of something special we could do for the 5th anniversary, and we also thought, geez, we have some pretty nice portraits living on a computer hard drive. What can we do with these things? But really, the rationale behind it is we are full of a lot of amazing stories. All of our researchers spend some time in the field, some of them a year, 18 months, and they do really important applied research that's meant to solve real-world problems. But along the way, they participate in communities. They become friends, neighbors, and colleagues with the people that you see in these portraits. And when they come back to Cornell, they write up their research, and they publish their work. And yet, all of the wonderful stories of the people who help us do this work never get told. So that's a big goal of this exhibit, is to help put the eyes on the people who this research is designed to serve. And so with that, I just want to also open our exhibit by thanking everyone who helped to create it in terms of contributing photographs. I want to thank the team at Mann Library, and in particular Jenny Leonhuvud, who did the amazing design work. And I also want to thank the people who are in these images for their participation and support of the research that we do. So with that, I'd like to move on to some formal remarks. We are very lucky to have the Dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences with us today. So Catherine J. Bohr is the Ronald P. Lynch Dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, which is a position she's held since 2010. During her tenure, Cornell CALS has seen record growth in applications and in growing diversity of the student and faculty body. She's responsible for hiring more than 150 new faculty in such very strategic areas of food and energy systems, environmental sciences, life sciences, economics, and community vitality. She's also a faculty member at the Department of Food Sciences and is still actively engaged in research, several industry boards, and I have seen her doing a lot of mentorship for women in research and leadership across campus. So we thank you very much for coming here, and please join me in welcoming Dean Bohr.
Well, thank you very much, Jessica, and I must say I am so pleased to see so many people who turned out this afternoon for this really special celebration. And we are here in what I think is one of the most wonderful places on the entire Cornell University campus, and that's this wonderful Mann Library, where we celebrate so much about improving the food security systems, agriculture, and certainly human ecology and all that is important to people on the planet with regard to their daily lives. So welcome to our wonderful Mann Library. It is truly wonderful to be here to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Tata-Cornell Institute through this incredible collaboration with our beautiful Mann Library. This exhibit, which is very appropriately named Portraits of Progress, offers a wonderful lens through which we can experience the scope, and that's important, but more importantly, the impact of TCI's work with communities throughout India. Now, the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences has a long history of international research, of service, and of policy advising. And TCI very much exemplifies the college's long-standing commitment to global research, to teaching, and to outreach. Now, TCI directly supports the mission of the college through its commitment to purpose-driven science and research, its pursuit of knowledge for the public good, its work to improve the lives of people and communities around the world, and through its very interdisciplinary approach to research and outreach. Within a very short period of time, and in an academic world, 5 years is just a second, truly a second, TCI has established a strong presence in India through research teams that are based in Ithaca and Mumbai and Delhi, and through field sites across rural India. TCI researchers are currently working in 75 villages in 6 states. TCI field projects have impacted more than 30,000 households in 195 villages. And TCI extends its reach by partnering with civil society organizations, with international NGOs, with universities, and with research organizations. The Institute's 15 Tata-Cornell scholars represent a very broad cross-section of the College of Agriculture and Life Science, drawn from animal science, from applied economics and management, from development sociology, from food science, there's my happy dance, from nutritional science, from plant pathology, and from soil science. And as we look to the future, with a world population that is expected to exceed 9 billion people by the year 2050, TCI's commitment to address chronic malnutrition is more important than ever. TCI's collaborator in this exhibit, that's Mann Library, is also a very important partner for CALS. The library's collections in agriculture and in the life sciences, as well as in human ecology, are truly world-class. And the services and the resources that Mann Library provides are indispensable to our community of scholars. I'm grateful to TCI and to Mann Library for collaborating on this exhibit. It's truly an ideal way to mark TCI's 5th anniversary and to help us all learn more about the life-changing work that serves communities throughout India. I invite each and every one of you to explore thoroughly, and I thank you very much for your attention this afternoon.
Thank you, Dean Bohr. Next up, we're going to hear from the founding director of the Tata-Cornell Institute, Dr. Prabhu Pingali. Not everyone here is familiar with who you are, so I wanted to just briefly introduce Dr. Pingali to the group. Dr. Pingali has kind of a non-traditional career trajectory for an academic, and while Cornell is very happy to have him part of Cornell since 2013, before that he worked for the Gates Foundation as the Associate Director or Assistant Director of Agriculture, the Director. Deputy Director. Assistant Director, Deputy Director. Forgive me. I'll read the paper now. Okay. So he's the Deputy Director of Agriculture at the Gates Foundation for 5 years. Before that, he was the Director of Agricultural and Development Economics Division at the Food and Agricultural Organization for the UN in Rome. Before that, he also has a long time history working for the CG centers, including CIMMYT, which is the International Center for Maize and Wheat. He also has experience with IRRI, which is the International Rice Research Institute, and back in the day, he also was an economist and researcher for the World Bank. So with that diverse experiences, he's really the ideal candidate to combine applied research with understanding how donors and foundations and implementing partners really work in the field. And that's something that we push for at the Tata-Cornell Institute, which is to connect research with application. And so I can't think of anyone a better pick to have been the founding director of the Tata-Cornell Institute, and we thank him for his service. So this day he's going to talk to you a little bit about what we've accomplished in the last 5 years, and also comment about what we hope to accomplish in the next 5 years ahead. So please join me in welcoming Prabhu Pingali.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. Jessica has done a tremendous job here, along with Jenny, in putting this together, this great portrait gallery and this exhibition. When Jessica first mentioned that they were going to put together an exhibition, I didn't quite get a sense of exactly what that was going to be like. I thought it'll be a few pictures hanging on the wall. But this is quite amazing. So before anything else, let's give them a big hand for this great exhibition. Also, Catherine, thank you for coming. And I was transiting through Rome in 2000, which was it? 12, in December, when my phone rang, and Catherine Bohr was on the other end of the line saying that she wanted to make an offer to me to come to Cornell. It was a noisy airport transit lounge. I picked up parts of what she was saying, but I got the gist of it, which was, this is the position, this is the salary, this is the starting date. And I said, that sounds wonderful, I'll be there. And it gave me a really good opportunity to transition from being a donor to actually doing some work. And I've enjoyed that thoroughly over the last 5 years. And my wife, Kumari, who's here, has also thoroughly enjoyed coming to Ithaca and being part of the Cornell community. So thank you, Catherine. This was a great move for us, and it continues to be a great move for us. TCI over the last 5 years has changed tremendously. When we arrived here in 2013, the only person that was officially part of our group was Mary Catherine. And that was it. And so we started with the two of us, and then we built the team to where we are today. So I'm proud to say that today we are at the stage of having 15 PhD students. I've lost count of the master students, but I think it's about 4 or so master students, plus 4 postdoctoral fellows and another 2 research associates. So it's turned out to be a fairly big group of people that we're working with, and working with offices in Mumbai and offices in Delhi. And it's been tremendously exciting, but also very challenging to pull this off and to get to where we are today. One of the biggest challenges, I think, for us was, how do you create a life-changing experience for a student that also changes the lives of the rural poor? That's a challenge in itself, because for Cornell students, you want them to be able to take on a research project that's analytically rigorous and that qualifies academically for a PhD. But at the same time, we wanted to hold true to the vision of Ratan Tata, who wanted to make a difference with the research of Cornell, with the technology generated at Cornell, for the lives of the poor. And marrying these two is not very easy. But 5 years from now, we can say that we have a model for doing that. And we have a model for doing that, and we've shown that it works, and we've shown it works with the work of our very first student who looked at women's empowerment and how that changes nutrition. And we were delighted when she won a major international award. This is Soumya Gupta, our very first student who ended up winning a major award for her thesis work, which then at least provided a platform for us to say, yes, you can actually do relevant research that changes the lives of the poor, but which is compatible with the academic rigor required of Cornell. And since then, we've had a series of students going out to the field, spending a year in India, and coming back with solid PhD thesis work. Maureen Valentine has come back after a year working on goat feeding systems in India. Shuli Vanaja, who is also here, has just come back after a year in India looking at clean drinking water systems, working with our close partner, Agua Clara. And we've had a series of students out there. There are about 4 students out in India today working on issues such as aflatoxin and aflatoxin risk and contamination and how to manage that. Students looking at why India continues to have such high levels of open defecation and how do you manage that and how do you create behavior change communications to change that situation in India. Student Katie Merkel looking at introducing orange flesh sweet potato, a sweet potato that's rich in vitamin A, into Indian food systems and looking at ways in which children's diets and infant diets can be changed through the introduction of this orange flesh sweet potato. Lots of behavior change communications work that's going on using women's groups in India to target changes in the way people think about nutrition, the way people think about food, and the way we promote diversity in food systems. So tremendously exciting work that's going on. And there's no dearth of problems to look at. There's no dearth of real life situations that need solid empirical research, solid analytical research from across the campus. So we're proud that today we've been able to involve around 10 different departments across the campus. Departments in CALS, departments in the College of Business, College of Engineering, and Human Ecology. So we're really proud that we've been able to expand across the campus, and we hope to continue doing so. Next year, not next year, this year in the fall, we'll be bringing in the largest group of incoming students. We're anticipating bringing in 4 PhD students, 2 in applied economics, 1 in food science, so a second food science student coming in, and another student coming in development sociology. In addition to that, for the first time, we are explicitly supporting 2 students who will come into the IPCAL's IARD program. So this is a new venture that we are trying to see whether we can bring young professionals from India to come in for a mid-career degree that will allow them to improve their own professional skills. The internship program has been growing tremendously. This year we are going to send about 8 to 10 students to India over the summer. And for the first time, we are also partnering with the Cornell's Global Fellows Program. And so we have a new partnership with them, which is called the Tata Global Fellows Program. Through that program, we're sending 2 additional undergraduates this summer to India. So there's a lot of work happening, but there's a lot of excitement going on in bringing all these groups together and bringing this multidisciplinary group research onto this campus and really focusing on the relevance of that research to the poor and to changing the lives of the poor. So that's something really exciting for us. The Gates Foundation grant that we got for $13 million 2 years ago completely transformed what I was thinking we were going to do here. I was so focused on us building up an academic research program that was relevant to society. But what the Gates Foundation grant did was to force us to look at scaling up, taking what we are learning and scaling that up. As Catherine mentioned, we are now working I forgot how many villages now. 175 villages is just our students, but I wrote it down here somewhere. And I just want to come back to that because the reason we came up with this statement. So through the Gates Foundation project, we are now reaching 195 villages and 30,000 households. So I have to tell you a story. I was driving in Orissa with Bhaskar Mitra, our associate director, when we got a message. I think Jessica sent me a message, or someone from your office saying, Dean Bohr has to give a big speech about the impact of Cornell and around the world, and can you give us a top-line number on what's the reach of TCI? So Bhaskar and I sat down and we calculated, and we took out the map and we put the numbers down, and that's how we came up with this. It's true, though. So it was quite an amazing thing. So what the Gates Foundation has done is to force us to say, okay, what's relevant of what you're doing and how can you scale it up? So we are now looking at scaling up some of the big research projects that we're working on. So we're looking at scaling up diversity in food systems, looking at more nutrition-sensitive food systems. We're trying to scale up different behavior change models for improved nutrition, improved sanitation, use of toilets, etc. And then as we go through different technologies, as students go through different research programs, we're looking constantly at how do you go from the 5 or 10 villages they're working in to hundreds of villages and across states in India. So that's the challenge that we're looking at as we look forward. Jessica is asking me to cut. So let me just say a couple of words about where I want to be 5 years from now. 5 years from now, we want to look at hundreds more of these examples of scalable technologies, scalable policies and systems that we can promote and take to scale and work with partners in India for taking this to scale. But the other thing I really think we can do is we have a model now. We have a model of showing how one can do policy-relevant research, field-relevant research, but to do it in an academically rigorous way. I'd like to take this model and see if we can apply it to other parts of the world. Can we apply the same model in other countries in South Asia? Can we apply the same model in sub-Saharan Africa, etc.? I think it can be done. I think one needs to look at donors who can come in and do this type of work, but we can learn from this experience and scale this experience up itself. So with that, thank you very much for coming, and I look forward to chatting with you during the reception.
Thank you very much. So before I dismiss you, I just want to take a moment to thank all of the many photographers who have contributed to this exhibit and whose work you see here today. So all of these photographs have been taken either by students, scholars, researchers, or staff of the Tata-Cornell Institute. I would like to in particularly thank Maureen Valentine, William Miller, Jessica Ames, that's me, Catherine Merkel, Shuli Vaneja, Matthew Abraham, and Anthony Wendt. All of your photos have been featured here today in the exhibit, but we've had hundreds, nearly thousands of photos to choose from, and we thank all of those who've made contributions for those considerations as well. So Vidya Vemireddy, Tanvi Rao, Payal Seth, Rohil Bhatnagar, Kavya Krishnan, Vanya Mehta, Megan Whitwer, and the members of our team in Delhi, Mumbai, and Gujarat, and anyone else I may have overlooked or forgotten. We thank you all for sharing these photographs and also sharing the stories of the people who are in them. Finally, I just want to take a moment again to thank Mann Library for working together and for co-creating this event. We want to also thank everyone who's come today, especially our Tata-Cornell faculty fellows and the many other faculty members who have joined us here today. We thank you, Dean Bohr, for joining us. Thank you, Prabhu, for your comments. And finally, as an appreciation for us thanking all of you to come, we want to point out two things. One, you are welcome to take on this back table over here any of our most recent publications, including our annual report, which is excellent. So if you want to hear greater depth about the work that we do, we'd encourage you to take some of those with you. But for a very nice, maybe a little bit more fun going away gift, we also have these very beautiful recipe books. Within these you'll find 17 unique recipes that were submitted by members of our institute as a way to mark our 5th anniversary. So you can build your own recipe book here on the back, and also try to take some of this exhibit home with you and try new recipes at home. So thanks to all who submitted a recipe, and also I want to thank Daisy Wiley at the Mann Library for doing a beautiful job on the design. So with that, I think we did it in under 20-25 minutes, and we appreciate all of you for coming. Please enjoy the reception and join us for this celebratory affair. Thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.
This is a production of DMIG, the Dyson Media Innovation Group.